Oh, there's a clap. Wow. We're making this official.
I know, right? This one is one we got to make sure it doesn't get lost.
Oh yeah. This is it might get lost for other reasons.
This is definitely not one that we can afford to have.
I'm rocking the City Limits hat. I got up there this weekend. City Limits is it, man. You like a place gets a recognition as high as like number one on some of these lists, and you go and you're like, there's always in the back of your brain is like, come on, no, like it's it. Like City Limits is it. Or you're gonna make sure I'm in frame. Or there we go. The full. Yeah, I got the drip this weekend. Immediately have to wear it. Like, yeah, talked to Robbie for a long time. Got to hang out in the pit room. He was generous enough to like take the time and talk. Got to help him flip a hog.
Nice.
You know, I did get put to work on my off day a little bit. I helped load some wood and move it over, and that's about it.
I mean, would you have it any other way?
No. No. Like,
there it is.
It's one of those things that's cool to get out and talk shit about things, like talk shit and shop about things that no one else really knows.
Yeah.
Like you can only know it by working in this space. So that was really cool. And like seeing a team that's fully bought into the vision, and that it's someone's vision and everybody's there to help facilitate it, and they believe in it. And like it was it's probably a top 5 full plate of barbecue, like end to end, and one of the like most memorable barbecue meals I'll ever have. It was that good.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like the most memorable.
Yeah, like it's like it's up there for me, like with like the likes of like the first time I had a full tray from, Goldie's or Leroy and Lewis or Interstellar, like these like landmark kind of things of like, oh shit, this is what I need to strive for. Oh yeah, we're immediately getting the parental advisory explicit tag on this one. Hey. And it's gonna get worse. I'm like,
but before it gets worse, let's get it started. And welcome to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that has hot news and even hotter takes. And I'm your host, Rashid Phillips, and across from me is
Bryan Hull, formerly of Owens and Hull.
Exactly, and this podcast is a little bit different because though Bryan is my co-host, he's not here today as my co-host. He's here to enlighten us and regale us and hopefully shed some light on some particular topics within our community and our craft that don't get enough attention as they should, and to also catch us up and bring us up to speed because there have been quite some developments in the last 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I left less than a week ago at this point.
Yeah.
I technically, some could say I abandoned or walked out the door. It's a weird way to say it when you don't have a contract.
All right, we're going right into it then.
I mean, like, yeah, when it's like, I'm just gonna like
slow pitch these at first.
No. I mean, like, we're not like, here. Okay, I'm gonna preface by saying that everything we're gonna talk about is from my perspective. In any relationship, whether it's business, personal, whatever, there is another person who has a perspective, and that's not gonna get shared today. Probably, like this is all coming from me. So there's a whole different set of feelings and understandings coming from another side that are not going to get shared. And like, I'm also probably not going to name names. I've been thinking about how I'm going to do this. And like, so we're just going to kind of skirt around some things and not name specific names because it's probably not, well, we actually want to be able to post this and leave it up.
I'll be able to post it and do anything.
I know.
No one can tell me shit.
Yeah,
I'm good with that, and I'm not just in the combative sense. It's hey, if you want to come on and share that other side of the coin, you know what the address is. Do the same, but no one's gonna say anything to make me pull it down because it's been a lot.
Yeah,
it's been a lot, and I think, and I don't know if you remember our old catchphrase, the good, the bad, and everything in between. This craft does have a lot of that.
Yeah,
and this is definitely falling in the middle of everything in between.
I mean, we're gonna highlight the good too.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna highlight the bad, and we're gonna highlight everything in the middle.
So, with that being said, let's start it right off. You are no longer part of Owens and Hull.
That is correct. I left on Tuesday. There was certain events that certain things that we had actually talked about and things that were expected that continue to not be done in a way that I had talked about. And anytime you're in a restaurant and everything, you are around people more than you're around your family. Tensions are going to flare. Tempers are going to get whatever. I mean, there's probably been, I want to say 4 or 5 times over the past 2 years that me and the other person have really gotten into it. And we've had to really, like, whether it's me balling up and not talking about what's going wrong and then kind of unleashing it, or, you know, certain events happening that kind of bring it up to light. And at the end of it, you know, we talk about what we want to see each other improve on, both me and him. And the things I asked to be improved on were not being improved on. And it got to a point where I'm like, I can't continue if the other person's not going to work on the things that I've asked them to work on that are real issues. I'm not going to continue to facilitate what I felt was like bailing them out. I'm not going to continue to put my effort and my heart and everything into this if, like, all it is facilitating somebody else. And we were like, I want to say I timed it at maximum damage. Like, and that's a really fucked up way to say it, but like, there is a real thing of fuck around and find out. And I've delayed the find out. I have delayed it and given every chance to not have that happen. But at some point, when you're not going to come over and meet me in the middle and do the things I asked, like if we've given a deadline, and every time we let it pass, we are ruining our own credibility. Like, what we say doesn't matter anymore. The things that we stand for don't matter anymore. So there comes a point where you have to say, okay, that's it. That's it. You didn't do what I asked you to do, and you did this thing again, and I have to walk away for my own credibility, for my own saneness, so that, like, when I say something, it matters and means something.
Yeah.
And that was the point we had reached.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're still skirting around some issue.
Well, I'm a pop the top off one because it's something that you've mentioned a few times already, but we'll talk on this subject. You, and if you don't, we'll remove this part of it, but you called me and said, and this is probably a week or two before your exit, you called me.
We had been talking about it for 2 months now, though, right?
Oh, yeah. That's it. But I'm talking about the point that stuck out too is you mentioning you had a break. Like, you mentally just.
Oh, yeah. I had a semi-mental breakdown probably about 3 weeks ago.
And you, again, made things clear. You made things clear of what was happening to your partner at the time.
Correct. I mean, not only that, but I'd gotten to the point where I don't have anybody to go home to. I've dedicated myself to it, and I've poured myself into it. So I have family that I can call. I have everything, but when I get home, whatever I'm carrying when I get home is going to be with me. So it probably wasn't healthy, but I was voicing a lot of frustrations very vocally in the restaurant. And that's probably not good for the people I'm working with. It doesn't create a good environment. And when I had that mental break, when I was really I was like, I can't be here right now. And when I say I can't be here, I still came in the morning and got them ready to open. The only thing I left is I left before service started. I made sure they were ready to go. I didn't abandon them. I made sure everything was facilitated to run as smoothly as possible without me being there. But I took everybody aside and I said, I'm sorry. There are things that you do that frustrate me. I should have talked to you about them directly. I have voiced my frustrations vocally at times in the restaurant while you're not there. I've talked shit about you, basically. And I want to apologize and man up to that. And I did that to everybody, including the partner. Okay? That's where, I need to take responsibility and culpability in the things that I've done. But to have that discussion and then within a week, it slipped back into all the things that I've talked about are issues means that there was no respect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like straight up.
No, and respect is very big in this game. Your name and respect and perceived and all that is very big. And you said it, that even at the point of where you're having a break, where you need to step away, you still care so much about the craft in which you do and others. You made sure they weren't abandoned. They still had everything they needed despite what you were going through. And that says a lot. And I think those who are listening, who have listened over the years, who have met you, know you, would say, yeah, that's on brand.
I think the thing that probably I don't know what I've done to deserve it, and we had our anniversary, and I invited a bunch of friends over who I've cooked with over the years, and I will name names, but Gabriel of Barangay, yeah, he pulled me aside and he says, "We're here because of you. We're here because of the things you've done and the respect we have for you." And he said, "I just want to know we fuck with you." And I don't think I've ever really. It even took me probably a week or two after he said that to really, really appreciate what that meant. And these are people that are cooking food that is tied dearly to their identity, their soul, and their heritage, and that they would put the trust in me to be able to work within that and collaborate in that space and help facilitate their story and their perspective. That means the world. And I've never taken that for granted, but I took for granted that people wanted to work with me because of what I had been doing or what they saw I had been doing. Sometimes, I think I said it to somebody else, sometimes you get so far in the muck that you don't have time to come up for air and just listen. Yeah. And that's where I've been for 2 years. And we did a thing, and I want to say, it was probably one of the 4 or 5 best days of my professional cooking career, hands down. And I got to come up out of the muck and listen. And and hear what people were appreciating about what I did and what I've been doing. And that doesn't happen a lot. You get so tied into the day-to-day. You get so tied into not only where you are, where that store was located. Yeah. It was about it was about as middle of nowhere as you could be while still being within driving distance of Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's,
I'll never, you go by there and you're like, am I lost?
You're driving down an industrial set of road, and all of a sudden some townhouses and apartments
pop up out of nowhere. Very Atlanta, by the way. It's very Atlanta. Yeah. Gun store, liquor store, gun store. Oh, condos. Got it. All right.
Well, no, it's not only that. It's warehouse. Tow company,
abandoned train station,
yeah,
old auto lube shop.
Yeah.
No, you created something, and I don't think anyone can say that the success of the former business rested squarely on your shoulders, and you had a good team. But let's be honest, I know on one hand you can count how many briskets went out the door that you didn't touch.
Until Tyler,
until before.
I mean, even in that space, man. I think until I went to Tanglefoot. Tanglefoot was the first week that I didn't touch in season and put on a brisket in that restaurant, and that was a month ago.
And how many briskets have come out of that place?
I mean, a lot. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's the most brisket ever, but until Tyler came on board and we had other people, outside of the time that Tyler trimmed briskets, I had trimmed 99.9% of the briskets that were ever served in that. And Tyler was coming in on his off day from working a really big, I can't remember. That was when he was still with the Hawks, I think. So he was coming in it was I think they had just got booted from the playoffs, so he had some time.
They're not going.
Yeah. So, but he was coming in on the off days, and he did more in that single time for brisket than the other person did in the 2 years that I was there.
And that's saying a lot. And I know someone out there's going to be like, oh, well, I'm sure the other person is taking care of all of these other things that you never have to consider. Like, yeah, when your name's on the wall, there's certain things that are expected, but you can't fault them for that. They brought you into this partnership for you to do your thing and for them to run that. But that doesn't seem to be the full case.
At the end, I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know the full scope. And like, honestly, like sometimes that's going to be, especially if you have an owner who isn't taking care of like the day-to-day operations, like there's always going to be some sort of tension because you can't see what they're doing.
Yeah.
The issue is the administrative work they were supposed to be doing was constantly off-roaded or ignored. Just to give you perspective on what I was doing day to day, and like my role had kind of shifted, especially when Tyler came on board. We're talking about Tyler Heath, who was supposed to be the third partner in Owens & Hull. That's the only person I'll name. Because there were technically no partners in Owens & Hull.
What do you mean?
A partnership agreement never got done.
How long were you with the company?
I was there for over 2 years.
And
Now, there's a reason why it didn't get done in the first place, and that's another part of the story. Like, I feel like we're going to be jumping around.
Oh, yeah. This is very much a Star Wars timeline we're dealing with here.
So we're in episode 6, and we haven't even talked about episode 1. So the two things that Tyler made very clear right off the bat is the two most important things were communication and a partnership agreement. Deadline after deadline were missed after Tyler came on board for a partnership agreement. It was always the lawyer's busy, they don't have time. Then, randomly, an email or text got shown to Tyler that said, hey, I've got some opening. You let me know when Tyler, so-and-so, and Bryan are ready to meet, and we'll sit down and hash this thing out. And 2 weeks later, it was back to the lawyer's busy, and that text or email didn't actually exist.
I don't know how many of the listeners are aware of this, but I've got a lawyer, and the amazing thing about my lawyer is I pay him to not be busy when I call.
Yeah.
So that's kind of odd. You should probably find a new lawyer if every time you call your lawyer's too busy for you. That's the problem.
Okay. So now that we got the partnership, where were we? I'm losing track because I'm jumping all over the place. We were talking about the day-to-day, what was responsible. So towards the end of my time at Owens & Hull, I was basically kind of general manager, overseeing the tasks, the day-to-day that everybody was doing. I was writing the schedule. I was programming and handling stock quantities on all of our pre-orders, writing them, like updating items anytime we had a new item in our Square system. I was making sure that our holiday orders, like items, were up. I was doing all of the ordering from multiple vendors and stores. I would be doing the shopping during the week. I would help cook and kind of organize everything. Tyler had taken over kind of the pit master duties. So he was really running the pits and kind of facilitating that. So that if I needed to fill in and jump in on the board or do stuff in the back while that was happening, we could do that. Because until Tyler came on board, for most of that first almost like year and 3 quarters, I was running the pits and running the board at the same time. So if the fire got down in the middle of service, I'd have to run out and do that. So I was writing all the schedules. I was basically the only one on any of our PR meetings. I was answering most of those. I was having to remind him that there were emails directed directly towards him. Like I had become almost a personal assistant at that point.
More so than a partner. Like on
top of like making sure that all the paper goods are ready to go, all the ordering's done. We had everything every week to do it. Facilitating, making sure that our labor numbers and our food costs were aligned for the businesses that we were doing, making sure we were properly staffed and scheduled, handling all of that. If someone's late, they're contacting me. If someone can't show up, they're contacting me. People asking off or like telling me, and I'm like scheduling around that. I was developing the systems for how we can deal with the increased traffic and our procedures for making sure that we were taking care of our customers and getting them the information that we needed as we were running out of food.
And let's talk about that, because let's be honest, when the doors first opened, they weren't what they were now.
No. Like at the time it was me, the partner, and 2 other employees. And one of those employees was maybe working 20 hours a week.
And since then, you guys have, I've lost track of how many rankings now.
We like on lists, we've been in 2 lists. And we've had we hired PR this year because unfortunately the way
I'll say the Atlanta food review scene sucks, and if you don't have a PR person to contact them, they don't even pay attention. And even when you do, and they do pay attention, they get the facts wrong. I remember reading an article that had my mind messed up. I was like, I know these people, and none of this is right. Did you even go to the restaurant? Who did you talk to?
When we got the number 3 from Texas Monthly for Best Texas Barbecue outside of Texas, not a single Atlanta publication covered it.
Which is wild.
Yeah. So when Daniel Vaughn was the 2nd review we've ever gotten about our restaurant, and the first review was from the Marietta Daily Journal. We still have not been written by the agency. We had a single blurb that kind of described our menu in Atlanta Magazine. The only other place that's I think actually reviewed us was Infatuation, and that was earlier this year. Yeah. So when we've been open over 2 years.
But you grew. One of the things that popped that wasn't even PR related, I don't believe this one was the random TikToker.
No. The TikToker was PR related. I did not.
First, not the second one, the first one.
No, both of those were
PR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't reach out. I didn't facilitate any influencers in the time that I was there. Like if they wanted to come in and film their own content, cool. I did not have the time to manage the Instagram, to do all the cooking, because up until January of this year, we had a couple people that may have come in the morning throughout, but I was basically the only one in the building from about anytime when I got there, which would be anywhere between 3 and 5 a.m. to 9:30 or 10:30 to 10:30 in the morning. I was the only one in there getting the cooks ready, getting all the sides ready, getting the building ready for service. Like we were constantly barely getting open in time, because the way we structured our service is we were open from 11:30 to 8. So we needed the hours of the people that were coming in to keep within 40 hours. They basically had to be working, 10 to 9 o'clock. So all of their hours had to be condensed and concentrated to when we were doing service.
Okay. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to bite off. That's a lot to chew. So that's progressing. That's going on. What happens next?
I mean, we around the time that there was a meeting that we had that said the partnership agreement was getting done. It was floated on the outdoor. It's well, if you have a lawyer that can do it, you'll find it and I'll pay for it. That was what was floated out there. So Tyler and I both kind of had someone in mind. I was able to get in touch with a lawyer and I explained the situation. And they said, is the relationship repairable, or is the relationship worth working on? That was, and he's I've heard a lot of these things. Whatever. I'll give you my opinion, but you tell me yours first. He's no, I don't think the relationship is at a state where it's repairable or worth working on. He goes, so you plan on leaving? I go, yes. Then my advice is it's in the best interest of you to not pursue a partnership agreement at that point. While it sucks that the thing you built and the thing that you've brought brand recognition and money and stuff, after this, we'll go over actual numbers of growth. What you've established, it sucks that you're not going to get paid out probably what you actually deserve.
Yeah.
But I will let you know what you think you deserve and what you actually deserve are going to be far less by the time lawyers get involved, and it's going to take a long time, and you're going to get a fraction of it, and it's probably not going to be worth it. And I got that advice from him, and I got that advice from another friend who just went through the same thing. You know who we're talking about. Yeah. Literally, like he said, it took multiple years, and I basically got paid below minimum wage for all the time I dedicated to that in terms of my payout. And it was a lot of upfront costs that, were covered at the end, but it wasn't, like, at the end, it really wasn't worth it. And so both of them kind of advised me, don't go through with this if you're planning on leaving. So at that point, Tyler and I started talking.
There was a third friend that also advised.
Oh yeah,
Not to pursue this partnership.
Yeah, you came in later. I hadn't talked to you at that point.
Because at that point, I wasn't aware of how murky the water was.
No,
because I was under the assumption that you guys were under a partnership agreement.
Correct.
So when you're under that assumption, they're just, as we've talked about, other things you just assume line up. And then once I realized that piece, I knew that the rest of it couldn't be true.
Well, should we go over like why the partnership agreement never got done? Kind of like lay the groundwork. So when I came on board, it was originally pitched that we were going to work somewhere between 3 and 6 months and reassess that if we wanted to continue working together, and that we would have a clean exit at that point with no paperwork. 3 weeks in to what we were doing, I was going around and getting supplies, and I got into a car wreck, and it was my fault. And I was carrying supplies for the restaurant. So I didn't want and LLCs are there to protect this, but I didn't want it to be connected that, this vehicle is for business use and can get I didn't want an asset of mine or the restaurant to possibly be sued because I was carrying food for the restaurant.
Yeah, no Tracy Morgans over here.
No. So I said, hey, until these legal matters are handled and I understand if my insurance will cover it or if they're going to ask for more, I don't want my name attached to anything. Stupidly. I honestly thought I fucked up my life.
Yeah.
And I probably carried that around until I got the final email that everything's been resolved within within how much my insurance would cover.
Good.
So not only that, not only the months leading up to that, but every time I fucking got an email or a call from my insurance, my stomach fucking sank. I was just carrying that around and carrying that around and carrying that around. And that was that puts you in a real fucking mental crutch.
It does. And since we're all airing out grievances like it's Festivus out here, you do a horrible job of letting your friends be there for you. And we already talked about this. I already went off on you once. I don't got to do it again. But for the listeners, this is who it's for. You do a horrible job of letting people who care about you outside of mom, dad, and sister, everybody, be there for you. And I've told you before.
I'm laughing because I'm gonna follow it up and it's gonna get worse.
I know, I know, but again, because we're big boy and 3 stacks out here, and our people know our friendship and relation goes way back, but those are the type of things I'm like, brother, don't carry that. There's so much, and once I told you when everything came out about realizing the agreement wasn't there, I told you my biggest gripe was why didn't you just say something? All the stuff that we have access to and
right.
Who we have you could just say something. You don't want to set us water under the bridge, but for those of you who are listening, if you're the type that doesn't ask for help or feels like you're going to be a burden or doesn't know how or this, that, and the other, what you do is you end up robbing those around you the possibility and the opportunity to be there and step in and be what they believe they are for you. It's my 2 cents. What do I know? I rub butts for a living, but I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, my parents and my sister would probably also agree with that I don't rely on them and share with them that much and don't, So, you're not the only one.
Yeah. I mean, at least I'm an amazing company.
Yeah, you're an amazing company.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, sis. Yeah, so... Okay, so we put off the partnership agreement and I said, as soon as this is figured out, I'll let you know. took about, I think, a year, and I go, hey man, just to let you know, we can go forward with the partnership agreement. And then again, I'm so busy that, I'm only reminding him maybe once every 2 months. Right. Like, hey man, like, where are we at with this? Yeah. So like, that's why it got pushed off at the beginning. Why it got pushed off when we were bringing a third partner on who gave full deadlines and full criteria for what he wanted to see to be on board. And that guy continued to work because he wanted to work with me. And I felt like shit because he left a really good paying job to be put through this shit. Like, he's gotten some moments of creative freedom that like I'm sure have fulfilled the parts of him that like he wasn't getting in the job he had before. But like, he literally sacrificed to come do this. And it wasn't respected or like the other end of the bargain was never held up. Yeah. I mean, real talk, I didn't get paid for anything I did for about the first 6 months. So I had been running a pop-up called Secret Pine BBQ, like, for almost 3 years at that point. I had started escalating. I had a full-time job and was making sausage for somebody else on top of doing Secret Pint for basically almost the first year and a half that Secret Pint was doing its pop-up phase at breweries. I got out of both of those through various things. And so I had a little bit of a runway that, thanks to some family, that towards the end of my time at Secret Pint, I wasn't having to dip down because Secret Pint was being successful enough that I could pay my bills and put some money away. So I had, that runway was based on the projections of what I was going to be making as Secret Pint every week. So when I went and did Owens and Hull, I immediately lost any extra income I had from Secret Pint. So I had to dip into that runway a lot harder. And so something that should have projected to last 18 to 20 months was now rapidly shrinking down. And by the time that we got around to where I started to get paid, I was already having to borrow money from family to make ends meet. And now I saw what was coming in on a day-to-day basis, and I also knew what we were paying the 2 employees there. And if you really wanted to do like actual like labor numbers and anything, we were not hitting our labor goals. So like, I understood. It still sucked, but I understood. I got paid probably half of what was livable for an additional 4 months after that. So probably I did not have a livable wage coming out of Owens and Hull until about July of 2024.
That's a long.
Yeah. So like
stretch.
that like, the stress of that building up to where you're like, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How I'm going to have a car payment?
And those are still the mid to tail end days of COVID numbers too.
I guess so. I guess so. Like, I mean, I feel like COVID, really, you're fully out of it by 2024. Yeah. So yeah, there's also that kind of hanging over me for probably about, like I said, the first 8 to 9 months of doing Owens and Hull, on top of the car wreck, on top of basically running the entire restaurant. Whatever you want to say about Owens and Hull, but Owens and Hull is Secret Pint 2.0 as far as I'm concerned. Like, yeah. Like, no one in that building besides me knew or did anything to make sausage. No one in that building besides me knew or did anything to do the brisket trims the way so we could actually make sausage and burgers. The reason that sausage and burgers are on that menu is because of me. The reason we cook the briskets the way we do is because of me. The reason why the brisket cook and evolved over time is because of me. The things that I learned and weren't mine, and I will give credit for, how to properly pull a butt for service and clean it. That's all him. I wasn't doing that before I came on board. I helped develop some techniques to make that easier. But other than that, like that is 100%. I wasn't doing that. The collards, 100% him. The mac and cheese, besides the fact they were reusing shells, which is a carryover of Secret Pint, that's his recipe that he developed. At the end, outside of the chicken rub, the pork rub, the brisket seasoning technique, the rib seasoning technique, the turkey seasoning technique, 100% of the sausage was like, like Tyler was contributing a lot to sausage and developing recipes at the end, but it was either me or him. Nothing else.
But Tyler hasn't been there nearly as long.
No, Tyler hasn't been there as long. Yeah. But like as soon as Tyler came on board, he like one of the things that he was getting some creative control and wanting to do is he was like a lot of the sausage recipes towards the end, especially the specialty, it was probably 2/3 Tyler to 1/3 me. Like I was doing a specialty like once a month and he was doing it the other. He was doing it like every 2 weeks was coming out of him. Like the lemon pepper wet, that's all Tyler. The green chili chorizo verde with the Oaxaca, that's all Tyler. There's a lot like so that's what he was doing, and also like the feijoada that we're serving, all Tyler. The Montreal smoked meat that we started serving on Thursdays, all Tyler. That's the thing is like important.
Can't forget the chili crisp.
Oh, the chili crisp. Oh yeah, that thing. Holy fucking shit. The chili crisp, all Tyler. I would come up with random ideas that he would integrate into that, but those things are all Tyler. Yeah. Like the amount of stuff he did to like push us forward, and not only like, but also like the systems and stuff that we developed and put in place to be able to weather the storm of getting way more busy because of that Ant video. Shout out to Ant. Like that shit, like the things he does on his own dime. We didn't pay a cent for that. He said, I wanted to be there. He came down. Showed up on the day that it hailed. So my car got totaled if I hailed the day that he showed up. So that also happened. So I had to get a third car in the last 2 years. Yeah. He helped us be able to, like, if we didn't have Tyler on board, we would have never been able to make the increased business from Ant work. The shitty thing is all of the extra time and prep that could have been going to creative dishes or expanding the menu or whatever basically had to get it shifted over to meet demand.
Yeah.
Like we had to change the way we ordered. We had to change the way we prepped, how like we basically began using that entire space on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, like front and back of house, to be able to keep up with demand and get everything ready for service on the weekend.
Because I remember being able to go in, get in line, and, be right there at the line on the side door. But the TikTok video, the Ant video, the additional visits from people who saw the video and were posting about it, then Southern Living as well.
That was last year. And yeah, but we never made it to the magazine on that.
Yeah,
that's a weird.
Just
that's a weird thing.
First,
yeah.
Trust me, it's,
they didn't even come to the restaurant, which is even weirder.
Again, where it's just like, did you guys actually try anything? And that's where, if you're going to be a food reviewer, you have to at least eat the food and go visit the location.
Yeah.
But things like that help, and things that you guys have done to grow that, you're not wrong. This is Secret Pint 2.0, because it has your fingerprints all over it. Yeah, I get the team and Tyler, but it's your fingerprint, it's your marking, it's your creating, because, and we can segue into that bit of it. There's that location, financially, numerical wise, before you, and then there's that location after you.
Yeah. Again, I like to give credit where credit is deserved. So the Brunswick stew, their recipe, chicken rub, their recipe, and then the initial hash, their recipe, the initial hash and rice we did. And then the sweet sauce that came out of there every time. Like if you went and had the sweet sauce, their recipe. Just want to, again, I want to give credit where credit's due, and not take credit for things I did not do. That's 100%. That's just how I roll.
But no one's selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sweet sauce or Brunswick stew.
This is true.
Gonna put that.
I mean, no. Southern Soul is selling more than 100,000. Yeah. Shout out to Mark. That's the funnest dude in barbecue. So, all right. So, are we going to do financials? Do we do actual numbers or we just do like X multipliers?
We'll do X multipliers.
Okay. So,
we don't want to.
and the first calendar year I was there, I increased the business 3X over the year before I came. This calendar year, we were on pace to increase it anywhere between 5 and 6X.
Those are not.
And that would, like, from the year before I came, if you compare that to the best historical year that spot has ever done, it would only be about a 2.7 to 3X multiplier.
No.
But that's coming out of a space that has 400 square feet of actual prep space and 100 square foot kitchen. Like, out of all the, like, there's people with worse situations than us. So, like, out of all the people we talked to, the only person that I found that's comparable and probably has, like, he's got a benefit that we don't have, but we had a little bit more than he had, was Cooper at Bar A. Like the way they make the space they are work and the volume that they do is, and the amount of stuff they do out of there is legitimately fucking crazy. But he has a pit room that he can turn into kind of a prep space at night, which we didn't have. We had to basically use our dining area as a prep space Mondays through Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so you're no longer proof of concept.
No. Like in terms of like proving that kind of service will work in the Atlanta market, no. We've proved it. We made it work financially. We fit the squarest peg into the roundest hole.
Yes, because when I tell you the way that you guys were able to overcome your bottlenecks, it's mind blowing.
Right. Yeah.
And some of those, just for those listening with it, questioning, prep space, storage space, dry goods space, refrigeration space, deep cold freezing space. Like
we didn't have a freezing space.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like these are all the hurdles you were able to overcome, despite and to still do. So it's like, now imagine when you have all that. Right, and that seems to be where we're veering into. Is I want to just jump to the chase where people might be wondering, what's next?
Follow the socials. I don't know when this is going to go up, so I don't want to say anything because I still got to go like register a bunch of domain names and shit.
When do you want it to go up? Because I can drop it tomorrow. I can.
Oh no,
it
I mean
Wednesday.
you drop it whenever, and like I will like just pay attention to the Secret Pint socials, and like there will be an announcement coming soon.
Okay.
Like, I mean we're scared. Like I plan on this. Like I said, I joked that this could be like a 3 to 4 hour podcast, and there's probably still a lot.
There's a ton that I know over time we will unpack, whether it be this one or the next one. But I think some of the big lessons, at least for this particular one, that I want people to understand is the importance of self-worth, communication, boundaries, and follow-through. Because a lot of this could have been mitigated if said partner at time would have just said, hey, you know what, I really don't have any intention. I really don't. I just, we're not going to be partners. I feel like if that would have just been said, we're not going to be partners. I just need a new pit person. This is going to be it.
Or even said, hey, my role is I want to be the owner kind of operator.
Kind of owner.
But when you go around and use the terms I'm a working owner, or say I, like when people come up and ask and you go, yeah, this is my restaurant. And then like, and then when you go like talk about like the procedures of how we cook a brisket and you phrase it as in you're a part of it and you did jack shit. Like I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. Jack fucking shit. Like, I'm sorry. I never wrote down a recipe. I never developed SOPs. I heard a great piece of advice from Clay at Snow's. And he said, I'm going to tell you how I do everything. Because 99.9% of the people aren't going to give and he didn't use these terminology, aren't going to give enough of a rat's ass to do it themselves.
Yeah. I'll never forget when I was younger, I'd watch Emerald like a lot of us did. And one day he was doing an interview and they asked, oh, but Emerald, you cook the dishes that are on your recipe. Or in the restaurants, he's like, I can show people every single step. They still won't do it. They want it done. They don't want to do. that's what matters.
What was projected as a partnership that would work was really about someone wanting to buy into the clout of craft barbecue without putting into the work.
Which sucks because we have covered that in past episodes where if you're doing this thing for clout to be we've had this conversation too, like we don't need any more rock stars. We don't need rock stars in barbecue. We don't. We do not need rock stars in barbecue. We need people who care about the craft and are wishing to pull it forward. And you're looking not maybe necessarily for to be leading. You just want to be part of that the cool kids of barbecue club. This ain't it.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want, then say that up front so that everyone knows what they're getting into. I am glad you got the time there. Like I said, to grow Secret Pie 2.0.
Yeah.
And it's no longer proof of concept. It's done. It is set. You have a MVP. It's right there now. And we're not going to say this time, but like you said, follow the socials. Because the next iteration and evolution is just going to be amazing because you already know what works, you know what doesn't, you know how to overcome what doesn't work and hold it together until it will. I'm excited. Like, I mean, it's not going to be long. Not at all.
Like we're like, depending on when this goes up, we're launching.
We'll put that part up. So
yeah.
I'll cut this and have it up tomorrow.
Okay.
So we can at least put that part when's the next time someone
I also don't want to say where we're launching because I don't want to get someone else in trouble now because they technically still work there.
Ooh, crap. Right.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's not going to. Well, no, he's off this week because he's focusing on his thing.
Okay.
But if he needs hours, they'll probably cut him by the time we do our thing. So, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to give him publicity too. Like my boy Henrik Kumar, he runs Dank's Deli. He's been helping out in the restaurant forever. And then we've done a bunch of collabs, and he's doing a kind of a 1 week residency at Scepter Brewing. So it's really funny that it's relaunching at fucking Scepter. In a collab, like I can't escape my past, man.
You can't outrun it, man.
Run from it as you may, it still comes.
Don't find you. Knock knock.
So I don't want to get into some fucking sacrilegious shit. We're calling it First Communion.
Yeah.
And so we are collabing with Henrik
on trimmed for our meals.
Yeah. We're collabing with Henrik this Sunday. 11/2? Was that?
Yeah.
November 2nd. This Sunday, November 2nd at Scepter. I think service starts at 12 and we'll run to like 5 or 6 or sold out. It won't be like a full menu. We're just doing probably like 3 or 4 collaboration items or items on our own. We're super grateful that Henrik would open up, the possibility of him bringing in income to like facilitate kind of our launch. And then we're going to take a week and go up to Holy Smokes and hang out, because we didn't think we were going to get to do that. And then the following week, we launch our first, what we call, we say day one or full service.
Yeah.
At Round Trip, the Atlanta location off of Seaboard International in Collier.
Okay.
So, which also is kind of a homecoming for me.
It is.
Yeah, I will tell this story. So Tyler and I, we get out of the store. We know we're leaving, and we're trying to we know we're leaving next year. That was the goal. We're just going to try and get through the end of the year, train up as people as much as possible so that we can kind of secretly, leave on the right terms and facilitate like a transition without really saying anything. Didn't happen, but it is what it is. So we go meet with Craig of Round Trip, and I go, "Hey, Craig, we're thinking about," and before I even finish the sentence, he just goes, "Yes." So like it's cool that so he's like, yeah, whatever you want to do, I'm in. So that's really awesome.
I love that because it's well deserved.
Yeah,
because your reputation precedes you.
Yeah,
right. Like your name. Gosh, your name in this business is damn near all you really have at first.
Right.
And if you're going to burn that bridge, make sure you never even need to go across it or look at it or see it again. But you've built such an amazing name or an amazing work ethic. That's why Gab will come out and do these events with you. That's why so many people will stand by you and support you. I'll never forget the first time I heard about you was through our mutual Ted, and I trust Ted wholeheartedly. So when he said, I was like, okay, bad. This is definitely has to be somebody. And that name is going to lead to so many more doors and opportunities opening and allowing you to create opportunities and doors for other people to accept and walk through. And I think that's the most exciting part of the story that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because it's just continually been building.
Yeah. Like it's a constant evolution. And if it's not, it's at the point that it stops being a constant evolution is that's the time you got to self-reflect and see is like, what am I in this for? If you're not always trying to get better or trying to evolve, then this probably isn't for you. It's funny. I talked with Brian Keenan probably a couple weeks ago. We love Brian Keenan.
We do.
And he goes, dude, we were talking about all this thing and how it fell apart and all this stuff. And he goes, like, there was probably 50 to 60 people that came up to him. And while he was working on transitioning from kind of like, he had a barbecue place in Roswell called Meeting Street, and it didn't work out for various reasons. And he was transitioning back into a pop-up, and then he got approached he was the first pitmaster at Woods Chapel. So he was working on Woods Chapel and doing pop-ups out of like the General Mirror. And he said of the 50 to 60 people that probably approached him for advice on how to get into it, and it may have been more, like how to get into the barbecue thing, how to really do it, like give him the tricks and tips to do it. He said I was the only one that saw it to completion.
Yeah, it reminds me. I've told the story about B numerous times. You know, he blessed me with Pearl, my first 500 reverse, and it was years later that I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years later after having a rig and everything, I asked him, I was like, B, like, why me? And it was a humbling response, but it was a good response too. He said, Sheed, you're not the first person I've told that to. It's like I tell that to those who ask. You're just the only person who listened. He's like, your job and your responsibility is to share the information. It's not up to you if someone uses it or does anything with it, right? So as amazing as it is to get that information, you should still pat self on back for doing it, because we've divulged it to, we have episodes literally step-by-step guide, and people still don't.
Yeah.
Right? So you took it and you ran with it because you want to do it. And sometimes it's even better when it is like that, because those who do something with it and build on it are the ones who want it the most. Like the hardest thing to do is to at least ask for help. And when you get that out there, when you got a little bit of direction, you're like, okay, they had said something like this. Let me figure it out. Let me start fumbling around and seeing what I can make happen. And you did. Look at it. Daniel Vaughn listed you the top 3 Texas-style barbecue outside of Texas in the United States.
On a week that the other partner wasn't there. I think we had 3 other employees at that time.
Yeah, that's huge. In our space, that's huge. To those who are like, I don't get it, this is akin to Oprah Winfrey naming you like her best anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we did it on a 500-gallon smoker in a Southern Pride with 3 other employees.
And 100 square foot kitchen.
400 square foot kitchen, 2 induction burners, 1 oven. No actual stovetops or range. And I fucked up the sausage that week. And part of the brisket cook had to be on the Southern Pride because of weather related issues. Like that's the funny thing is like I'll tell, like I talked to like Robbie also talked about his experience the week that Daniel Vaughn came and so he was going to take the week off.
Yeah, good.
He told me this in confidence, so I'm not going to say it. We'll just say that he had to scramble to get everything done. So, like, honestly, if Robbie, like, and City Limits had fully cooked, they probably would have been number 1 on that list. I don't have a fucking doubt in my mind. Yeah.
Wow. No, that's Yeah, this world, this space, this community, it demands to think a little bit more than people realize. Like, Ernest talking about, the sacrifices, the you're gonna miss everything.
The only thing that I like, because she would have killed me.
Oh yes,
I didn't miss my sister's wedding. I still went in and got the store ready that morning. I didn't get to leave till like almost like 12:30. So, and like I got down there in time to change and everything. But I did miss my first grandfather to pass. I missed his funeral. And like my parents and my sister say it's okay or whatever. Like it wasn't that big a deal. But like, I mean, that's on the flip side. That's one of those things that like I should have made time. And I should have put my foot down and said, I have to go do this. And so while the offer wasn't extended to me to go do that, I think I'm probably just as much to blame in that instance for not putting my foot down and said, this is important.
That's good self-accountability.
Yeah.
That's good accountability. And that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. Didn't know that part.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get fucking real, so let's get fucking real. Like,
Yeah. It is. It's things are going to get missed, not overlooked, not because they're important. It's just time.
Well, I mean, yeah, I put the restaurant first. And like someone else said, I'm going to take this someone else's quote. It's funny who this person is, but I'm not going to mention it. They call it the subtle art of giving a shit. And I didn't see that.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I know all of what you've left behind with this exit, because it wasn't an abandonment. It was just the final straw.
It wasn't abandonment, because I've already seen. I hope they get it together, and I hope they can shepherd in the new era of whatever that is.
Yeah.
I did quit so hard they changed the name for like 48 hours.
That's going in. I quit so hard they changed the name for 48 hours.
Like, I mean, if like you can say that I walked out and I abandoned them. I mean, that's like they needed Tyler and I that week. Like that was going to be a hell week. I mean, half of the business that came in that week was related to caterings.
But again, is that your responsibility? It's hard to continue. And that's, again, it's just, it speaks to I always told you had a better heart than me. It's hard. You were still being partner roles and wanted to do partner responsibilities, but you weren't a partner. You weren't valued as such. You weren't perceived as such. You weren't even discussed as such in the communications. And that's telling.
I mean, in the communications and on the PR front.
No, PR front, but in general convo, no. And that's not right. And I know that from mutuals I've introduced you to who've gone by, and they've asked me, like, is Bryan part of this? Because the guy that says, like, yeah, he is, just don't worry about it. But it is what I know going forward, you won't have to plead for what is yours. It's just going to be there. And I think that's going to be very refreshing, but so well deserved and rightfully deserved. The messed up thing is all of this could have been mitigated with proper communication and boundaries and just stepping up. And if your guy comes to you and says, hey, I'm having a break here, I'm losing it, this isn't helping, the structure's not working, I need you to do what you say you're going to do, and then you turn back around and then you don't do it, fuck you, I'm out. Like, because at that point, you've shown I've missed and given everything, and you can't even give me the common decency to try to do what you want other people to perceive you're already doing.
Yeah, I will say, I got to a point one time, it was probably last year, I got really frustrated. And it was the only time I ever did it. He was talking to somebody else about something, and it felt like I was getting thrown under the bus. And I lost it, and I said, well, you fucking do it. You show me you can fucking do it without me. And I walked out. I got in my car, and I didn't leave. Didn't plan on leaving. And we had a talk, and I made a promise that day. Is like, I can't promise that I'll ever lose my temper. I can't promise that I'll ever cuss at you. But I will promise that I'll never threaten to leave unless I mean it. I don't want to use that as a weapon to hold over somebody's head.
Yeah.
I held up that promise.
Yeah.
Like, I never threatened to leave ever again. I just did.
That's a damn good way to end this one too. That is a damn good way to end that one too. Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna put executive decision. That's a damn good way to end it.